What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm gonna give you guys an update on the reef tanks inside real quick. Show you guys what's going on, just because I haven't really done a full video on the tanks. So let's start with the top here. So all of this system is all hooked up in one, right? So it's just a big rack. It goes down from here to there and down to here. So let's start with the top. We got the koi tang in here. That guy's been bullying the other fish in the 55 or the 54 gallons, so he's in here until we can get a bigger tank. Those two guys were the two fish that were outside in that quarantine slash tank in the garage. Moved them in here for the time being, so they're in here. And this is the tank with the two OGs. So those are my two very first saltwater fish that I've kept probably 5-6 years now. I got them back in 2000 and was it 13, 15 or something like that. Okay, it's longer than 5 years. It's like 6-7 years. But they're doing fine. Still same two guys. They moved their little hut or a little house back there, but what I do with these little macroalgae, I'll kind of prune them, take them, and then I'll feed it to the tangs. I'll feed it to the tangs over here, and also the tangs on the on the other tank as well. So it's kind of like a mini little snack that I grow and feed them every week. Get the little greens in. So that's a top tank. Nothing really, crazy. I would be growing, more on this side, but if you put macroalgae over here, they'll just eat it. So that's why it's not grown in there. Moving down to the next level tank here, and check out the anemones. So I started with one. This is a Colorado sunburst anemone. Started with one. It was ginormous. It was like the size of that when it got really big. When I bought it, it was only about like maybe 3-4 inches. Now this one's like a giant, right? Got to be about maybe that size right there. Yeah, and then it split, and it slowly splits more. But as you can see, we got two giant ones in there. And then moving across here, we got two more giants, and those were all the spawns of the one original Colorado sunburst anemone. And then the corals in here, we just have mushrooms, guys, and a couple of guys over here. But all my zoas just randomly died. I don't know what happened there. Could have been just a swing, and they just didn't really make it. So I'm not really sure what happened there, but that's okay. We'll just continue growing the anemones and some of the mushrooms. And then moving on to up here, this is the mock inferno. So when I had this guy here mixed with the Colorado sunburst, you're not supposed to mix any anemones with the Colorado sunburst, just FYI. This guy bleached, super bleached. So normally these guys would lose, but this guy, they grew really well, and this guy lost. And then this guy was bleached for at least 2-3 years. Like, I'm talking about like a pink color. You can kind of watch my old video in terms of like 3 years I've kept these anemones, and you kind of see what color this guy was. Lost its color completely, but finally it started growing back its color, and then it split for me. So it's doing pretty good, but eventually I'll probably get rid of it, just because I don't want to roll the dice again with these two. They look very similar, but this guy definitely more color. This guy here, the footing. The footing for this guy isn't marble. So the footing for the Colorado sunburst, just if you guys are looking into it, it is marbled. So that's how you can tell that you have a real sunburst or not. Then also I added snails into this tank as well. It's been keeping the glass pretty clean for me, where the scraping has been down to a minimal. It's not terrible, but it used to be pretty bad. But having these guys in here really helped. All right, then moving all the way down to the bottom of the sump. So this is my Refugium area, growing just shado. I have a couple snails in here as well. I did have a lobster in here at some point, but for whatever reason, 2 weeks later, that lobster didn't make it. And unfortunately, that's it for that lobster. We do have a couple more snails also in this tank, just growing. But yeah, it's just my Refugium in here. So before I go to the other tank, give you guys an update, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple mushrooms and put it in the other tank, because that tank has been bare bottom, nothing, just fish, just because I've been trying to figure out what is wrong with my blue tang. I basically dosed that whole tank with copper, and then finally like waited like 3 months or whatever, got rid of all the copper with carbon, and now it's kind of ready to have something in there other than just fish. So I'm gonna start with a couple mushrooms. If the mushrooms do fine, I'll most likely move these anemones to kind of not and have these guys fight in the same system over there. And then we'll see, you know, kind of go from there. But I also grabbed some Shado, and I'm going to put it in the other tank as well. So let's go over to the other tank and let's check it out. All right, so as I was literally walking from my office to here, we lost power for like maybe like a few minutes randomly, and it's like it's not even, there's no storm. Like this is what I'm talking about. Like we just lose power randomly. Anyways, and that's why we need that battery ASAP, so that we can kind of have this stuff not happen. But anyways, we're out here. Here's the tank. We added the mushrooms into the tank here. I have a couple on the bottom that got knocked out somehow, but we got one here. We got one in these tiers here. These are higher par, and this is just like the lowest par, so I just kept down here. A couple of guys. But we also have a bunch of snails in here, but the tang has been just picking at these poor snails and just picking them up from this high and just dropping them for fun. I don't know why. And I think they've eaten a couple of them, so that's unfortunate. But they've cleaned the tank. Like seriously, like they had algae in the back wall, the side wall. They've actually cleaned the whole tank, and now it's just, you can see, it's just very little algae here and there. So they're doing a really good job. You know, at the end of the week or whatever, I'll just have to scrape very little in the front, and that's it. All right, so let me explain what's going on with the blue tang. The blue tang likes to hide back here. He likes to sleep upside down like here. That's his sleeping spot. But quickly, so I don't know what's going on with the blue tang. Like it's been having these white spots only on the head, and it's like giant ones, not ick. Just because when I got him, I put him in through a like 2-month quarantine copper outside, perfectly fine, put him in here, and he showed symptoms again, but it was only him that got it, like only in the head. Took him out, put him into the quarantine again to another 2 months copper, everything was fine, put him back in here, and he got it again. And I was like, what the heck's going on? So that's why this whole tank got stripped, and I treated the whole tank thinking that maybe, you know, this tank's contaminated when I put him back and forth, right? Treated this whole tank with copper. You know, obviously there was no snails in here at that time. Completely wiped out, you know, and waited 2 months, and the guy still has whatever that is. I'm not sure what it is. And so now I'm just starting to put stuff back in here just because not sure what's going on with him. It's just only him that has it. So I bought 2 cleaner shrimp, added these 2 guys in, and immediately the cleaner shrimp went after those little like big white spots on his head and just started pecking at it, and it's completely gone now, like from his head, like within a few like hours. So he's looking way better. Like he used to, you can kind of see where it like the very top of his forehead, it used to be like one giant white spot. So I'm not sure what it is, maybe like a parasite or something like that, that's immune to freaking copper, because he went through like hardcore like treatment of copper. You can see like right there on the top of his forehead. Anyways, the cleaner shrimp doing his thing, you know, doing their thing, so they're doing good. In the very bottom here, I switched lights, went back to the these grow lights, and we have Shado in here, and then some snails as well, and they're just doing their thing. But yeah, other than that, the blue tang has been doing very well, swimming, really active, eating just fine. So he's doing fabulous. The Origo angelfish here, awesome. I know that these fish tend to be more shy, where they like to hide in the back, but this guy has been coming out in front for me, eating pretty much anything I throw in this tank. So I'm really happy that he's doing really well as well. So you see that? He just picked up that that poor little snail there and just dropped him for no reason, you know. I think he's just kind of bored, but yeah. So it's really cool, and I'm kind of amazed. I'm gonna probably do a clip here when I kind of catch him, but what he'll do is he'll stop by and kind of stay close to these cleaner shrimp and just wait for them to come out to clean them. And man, that's just amazing how, you know, fish, they know like, hey, these guys aren't food, they're here to help you. And like that's the first thing that he did, was like came here. I don't know if it's a girl or a boy, but came down here and and just started getting clean from the shrimp, and now he's just happy running around. So yeah. All right guys, and that is the quick update of the reef tanks. Hope you guys enjoy this week's update. If you guys aren't subscribed, make sure you guys are subscribed. Always to next one, guys. Peace.